I remember the first wedding. I had my camera settings set for indoors, and I had stepped outside. I don't know if they had just come out limo something, and I stepped outside, and someone wanted a picture outside, and I'm like, you know what? I cannot take this picture for you outside. Let's go inside because this camera is set for indoor settings, and I cannot and do not know anything about changing the settings to make your picture look good out here. So I think as time went on, different experiences like that made me kind of want to learn more so that I didn't find myself in a crunch, like in the middle of an event, trying to ask, like, how do I do this? Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hijacking the channel today. So, hubby and I were just talking about, how I started taking pictures with him, and it's been like 2 years. And we thought, you know what? It might be time for us to start sharing our journey on video and just talk about, hey, like, my journey learning photography from him, and especially now that we're experiencing a downtime without really having events and things with the pandemic going on. So yeah, we just wanted to share some of our experiences. So like I mentioned, it's been 2 years, about a little over 2 years
since you started
since my first event shooting with Salem. So I think it was a wedding. It was a wedding end of May 2018. Before that, I was just kind of sitting there with all the equipment,
you were like
letting him know,
an assistant, making sure I don't miss like the cake cutting and
right,
stuff
just
like
saying,
that.
hey, they need you over here, etc.
Right.
Like, I did not have a lot of knowledge about really what was going on, like, with the camera at all. So the first wedding that I was actually gonna shoot, now I actually got my notebook out and someone started to teach me about like the 3 basics that you need to know for photography. So all photographers would know that you need to know the ISO, the shutter speed, and the aperture. So those were the 3 things.
Oh, so while she's taking a peek at her notes and not talking.
Okay.
So we are going to make more videos about the steps and everything that she learned. And if you are new to photography, these videos may help you. It may save you months and months of try and error, because we've been through it, and some of the stuff we could have done much better. So okay,
because on event days, this guy over here gets pretty intense, and it's like he's focused on the job, and it's like if he taught me something already, he expects me to like know it and execute it well, and he doesn't want me to like stop him from catching an important moment just to figure out one little thing. So I had a notebook, kind of just wrote things down, and I had an index card that day as like my cheat sheet. He just gave me some of the basic settings. I had my basic numbers for shutter speed depending on lighting in the room and if people were standing still or moving around. I had a sense for, I didn't really quite understand depth of field like that first wedding we did, but he just gave me the general numbers of, hey, if there's X amount of people, if there's a lot of people in the picture, you want to use like a higher f-stop, and if there's a little bit, if it's just the bride you're focusing on, it's okay to use a lower f-stop because they'll still be sharp. So those type of things. And he taught me about avoiding going too high with the ISO because you don't want your picture to be grainy, like just basics. Like a lot of things I didn't understand. I remember the first wedding, I had my camera settings set for indoors, and I had stepped outside. I don't know if they had just come out limo something, and I stepped outside, and someone wanted a picture outside, and I'm like, you know what? I cannot take this picture for you outside. Let's go inside because this camera is set for indoor settings, and I cannot and do not know anything about changing the settings to make your picture look good out here. So I think as time went on, different experiences like that made me kind of want to learn more so that I didn't find myself in a crunch, like in the middle of an event, trying to ask, like, how do I do this? Because on event days, this guy over here gets pretty intense, and it's like he's focused on the job, and it's like if he taught me something already, he expects me to like know it and execute it well, and he doesn't want me to like stop him from catching an important moment just to figure out one little thing. So yeah, it's been kind of interesting. It's kind of funny, working with your spouse, because it's like you
I think that there should be a class on, how to relate to your spouse in a business setting, because it's like in that world, like, I'm a different person. Like, you're not my wife. Like, you're assisting me on this wedding, and I need to get this shot, and that shot, and you're in my way. So sometimes, it's you have to know. You have to agree on certain things before you get started in business, working together. So
so there's certain boundaries. Like, I had to learn, like, not to get offended, his reaction at an event, if he's in like the heat of the moment, focused on the job, because it's like, okay, this is not our relationship, this is like at the moment trying to get the perfect shot for the client. So pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, it's been a cool journey. He kind of just threw me in there when he wanted to start teaching me. Like, he would want to start teaching me things, and I would like have so many excuses, not to be available at the time to learn it. And then at an event, he'd be like, okay, you're taking this camera.
So you knew that?
Well, I had stuff to do in the house and stuff,
Okay.
just different things with the kids and, work. But yeah.
But
then he would use the opportunity of an event to be like, hey, now you're going to have this camera on with flash, so I'm going to teach you on the fly.
Well, at that point, you didn't have anywhere to go or anything to do, right?
Right. It's like, I'm already there.
But one thing I really liked about you was that you actually took notes, and once I told you something, I didn't have to keep going back to that thing. It was like, okay, the next thing we're using a different flash, next thing we're using a different kind of setting. So that helped a lot. The fact that you kept notes and you had a notebook dedicated to everything. I didn't even have a notebook. So
yeah, I have my photography notebook, which now that we've moved, I'm not exactly sure where it is yet, but I need to find that. But you remember
most of the stuff.
But I remember like some of the basics, of course. And so where was I before you interjected with that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so what? Yeah. I think you've thrown me into like the flash. And even learning the syncing, what's that called, the technical term?
High-speed sync.
The high-speed sync. Just different things. And then we eventually got a photo booth too, so I kind of had to learn that, because sometimes we were at an event and I was the one running the photo booth while he's actually taking pictures or doing video. I mean, he just keeps like running way ahead of me, so I still have to catch up with some of the other skills that he, has gained. But it's kind of been fun. Definitely have learned a lot.
To add to that, the photo booth, you did great. In fact, you pretty much learned it very fast and did events on your own without me being there. So that was huge. And
yeah, that's right.
So yeah, continue.
Yeah. So let me take a peek at my notes. What else did I want to mention? I think I covered all the stuff I wrote.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Really?
I sure did.
So what advice do you have for anyone who wants to work with their spouse, or anyone who is new to photography? What should be the first thing they do or learn?
You have to understand the three basics, really. The ISO, the shutter speed, and the aperture. You have to understand those three, what they do, play around with the camera, take different pictures, and see like what's the difference in the photo quality when you change certain things around. Of course, I wasn't big on like just taking the camera and playing around with it. My husband, he's more hands-on, so it's like that's kind of how he learned. But I'm like a book person, so it's like, hey, I want to read it, get it in theory first, and then like I'm like slow to the application part. So he kind of has challenged me in that area. But definitely actually take, using the camera and just, practice if you have children or anyone in the house who can just be your model, and then just practice taking pictures, practice in different light settings, listening to tutorials or whatever the case may be. But definitely he was very helpful because he did like diagrams, like to explain depth of field, like he drew certain things out to explain. Even I had a hard time understanding the different lenses and the millimeter length and like what it meant, and so he was able to kind of draw some things out and even find a picture of like the same person but using the different lens, 35 millimeter to 50 to 85, and to see like, okay, this is how the picture looks. So it means that you're gonna cover more space in the surrounding background. So I kind of came to favor the 50, taking pictures at weddings. I usually use the 50 or the 85, and just learning things in the field, like with wedding. Like initially, I would want to be all up in the space of the bride and groom to take pictures for the wedding, and then you realize that, hey, you know what, you kind of have to be like a fly on the wall and not be all up in their space.
And I think the lens you're using a 50 on a Nikon D750, which is a full frame. So it first had to get closer to the action.
I had to get closer, but with the 85, I could step back, be a little further away.
Right. And I even like to go longer than 85. 135, right. 200 sometimes. So it depends on the.
So definitely, it's been fun. It's definitely, hey, if you're out there, your spouse takes pictures, and you're like not sure why they have to go and be away all these hours for events, hey, join them. It's like initially it can be a little overwhelming or fearful, like, oh my God, like I don't want to take a bad picture, but hey, you go as the backup. Like, of course, they're running the show, and if you get great pictures in addition, it's only a plus, So learn together, work together, have fun, and hey, I've always loved pictures and looking at videos and stuff. So now it's cool. Like even with videos, I watch like other wedding videos, and I tell my husband like, hey, can you do this transition? Can you do this in the video, etc. So just different things, and you just kind of start getting an eye for a good picture and etc. And it's just something to do together. So it's been
in the next episodes I will talk about how you saved me several times.
Okay.
At events, because if a wedding is such a big event that one person cannot just capture everything, so it's always good to have a second shooter. And sometimes you are here and stuff is happening here, and you cannot be at two places at the same time.
And then some details, it's like,
yes,
I just
some
catch
details
it.
sometimes just forget because equipment is failing. You're trying to get the first dance, and you have the second shooter who is walking around catching all the little things that
catching
you might
the
have
guests just kind of
right
in their natural environment.
Right, and then you get an email from a bride like, hey, my mother-in-law just passed. Do you have any picture from this? And then I'm like, oh, I didn't take any picture, but I checked and then she took. So, stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, that was a good intro.
Yeah, thanks for listening. And
if you haven't subscribed, please do well to subscribe. There's a small comment, and since you guys like the couple videos, we're gonna try and keep it up.
Yeah, we got some good feedback of the video we did together. So I'm like, okay, what else can we talk about?
Right. And again, if you are in Texas, we just moved to Fort Worth. So if you're looking for a photographer or just looking for someone to collaborate with, whether you are a photographer, a model, or you are in the industry, just hit us up and let us know. We're on Instagram as Meek Photos Vision. And yeah.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.